back with another video, continuing with After We Fell by Anatole. So I've already covered After the first book and After We Collided the second book. So now I'm going to the third book, After We Fell. So from the last video that I actually posted, we are continuing with that. So what is happening now is that we are getting introduced to a different character now. This character has been on the book from the beginning, from after we collided, and now we're getting introduced to this character, Holy, and his intentions, and who is this person, and what he wants with Tessa, or what he wants to happen between Tessa and Hardin. And this character that I'm talking about is Zed. So from the second book, After We Fell, we get introduced actually a little bit about like from the first book. After we get introduced about Zed, that Zed and Hardin had always been competitive. They have kind of a relationship that is friendly, but at the same time is competitive, and at the same time there's a bit of a beef. Whether the beef is actually addressed or it's not addressed, we're going to see it as we continue with After We Fell. So what happens now with After We Collided? There was a time where Tessa actually went and stayed in Zed's room, and they were, they became a bit cozy, cozy. I mean that they slept in the same bed and all that. And this happened after Tessa had a fight with Hardin at the party where Hardin was supposed to, the first part, I think not the first party after they actually had reconciled, that they went to together. So that's when Tessa actually had him talking to a girl that he doesn't. The girl said she doesn't kiss and tell and stuff like that. So that whole fight ended up with Hardin leaving Tessa behind. And when he leaves Tessa behind, somebody had to take Tessa home, and the person who offered was Zed. And then instead of taking her home, they went to Zed. Zed's place, and then yeah, she ended up being in Zed's room and bed, in his bed, and then they kissed at some point. And when apparently hadn't really traced to find out where Tessa is, it actually led him to Zed, and that was the only obvious explanation where Tessa could be, if like she's not with Hardin. So when he gets there, he finds them in bed, cozy and stuff like that. So the beef between Zed and Hardin became stronger then, because I mean Hardin loves Tessa. He can be expressing it in a very different way, in a way that we don't expect him to be expressing his love and stuff like that. But the bottom line is he does love Tessa and so much. So with him, it's becoming a bit personal, or not even a bit personal, very personal, when Tessa finds herself being with Zed, and at the same time Zed is actually pursuing Tessa, even after knowing that Tessa chose Hardin, and she has forgiven Hardin and stuff like that. But he is very angry about it. Actually, he even gets to the point in After We Fell, and even after we collided, to tell Tessa to stay away from Zed, and that's the same to Zed, that Zed stay away from Tessa and stuff like that. So he actually told them to stay away from each other. And now in After We Fell, Hardin at some point, it's not even after we fell, after we collided, Hardin actually had a big fight with Zed at the university, where it ended up with Hardin badly hurting Zed, because Tessa went to where Zed works with his plants and whatsoever, in that house, yeah, that thing where they do the plants and stuff like that. So Haren actually sees them, and then he really beats up Zed very badly and stuff like that. So the feud continues. So first he finds them in bed and in a very cozy position, and then secondly he finds them together and at a place where Zed actually is doing his practicals and stuff like that. So this thing is actually building up. He's actually getting very angry that why all the time Zed has to be where Tessa is, or Tessa has to be where Zed is. So now he's starting to realize that the best competitor that he has towards Tessa is Zed, the very same person that he had undermined. And he did not think in his life that Zed could be the one who could be a competition for him. Because at the same time, even if he wants to ignore it and make it look like he's fine, or no way Zed can't have Tessa, the bottom line is Tessa sees Zed as a friend, and Tessa sees him, Zed, as the same way as she sees Hardin, because they were both uh, competing on the bet. So none of them to Tessa is innocent or is more holier than thou than the other. So to her, they are the same. It's just that she tends to love Harin more than she loves Zed. But with Zed, the friendship that he gives to Tessa, it's comforting. When Haddon does something, Zed is always there to pick up the pieces. So this guy is very dangerous, and Haddon is starting to see that. He's starting to see that this is the man who can actually take this woman away from me. So he constantly doesn't even want them together in the same place. He doesn't actually want them to see them together at all and stuff like that, because he knows from the bottom of his heart that the only person who can snatch Tessa from him is going to be Zed, because this guy, he just knows when to be, when to be at the right place where Tessa needs his help, especially when Harden fucks up. He fucks up, Harden's there to comfort Tessa. And Tessa, um, not just Tessa only. When you're hurt and then there's somebody who's there, comforting you and stuff like that. Obviously, it's easy that comfort can lead to real feelings in the near future and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that it's all the time, but there's a very, very big possibilities of you starting to have feelings for that person, because this person is always around when you need them and stuff like that. So what happens is Harin is now on a hearing, for university hearing, for beating up Zed, and then Zed also said that he's not going to press the charges when he was talking to Tessa. But when he was talking to his other friends, he said he's going to press charges. So now it became a bit confusing for Tessa. So on the day of Haddon's hearing, Zed has actually sent Tessa a text that they should meet up, and then Tessa actually did not respond. But later on, when Haddon is in the room hearing the fate of his university life, whether it's going to be suspended and stuff like that, she also doing the damage control on the side of making sure that Zed doesn't uh, do the legal route as well. So now, when she was busy talking to Zed and stuff like that, Zed, mind you, Tessa has not told Hardin that she wants to go to Seattle. She's decided to go to Seattle, because this whole Seattle thing happened just after when Tessa and hadn't broke up. So now he's back in her lap, and she hasn't told him. And she knows very well that he doesn't want to go to Seattle, and he doesn't even want her to go to Seattle. So it's very difficult for her to actually tell him about it. So the only person who knows is Zed. And guess what? Zed says the right things at the right time. Just when Hardin is at the back of Tessa, he says all those things. And he was angry and stuff like that. He was saying that if you love him so much, why do you keep running back to me every time when he hurts you and stuff like that? And why haven't you told him that you're going to Seattle if you love him that much and stuff like that? So it means that you don't love him that much if you haven't told him just yet, and you are leaving in a week. And Hardin happens to hear it, and I'm going to tell you what happens after that, because what happens after that, um, Tessa's relationship with Hardin, instead of getting, okay, it was complicated before, but now it's getting more complicated than it ever did before. It's getting even more and more complicated, because now Tessa's father is back in her life, and he is living with Hardin and Tessa. And Hardin doesn't trust him because he's a junkie, and the way that he is and stuff like that. And the fact that, Hardin doesn't like sharing, whether it could be Tessa's father, he doesn't give a damn, but he just doesn't love sharing Tessa with anyone. So, until the next video, where I'm going to go deeper on what really happens between Zed, Tessa, and Hardin, and whether Tessa ends up going to Seattle or not. And if she does Hardin go with her? If he doesn't, how does the relationship actually continue? The relationship of these two young lovers who have a very complicated relationship but love each other very, very, very much. So thank you very much, guys, for watching my videos and liking my videos and subscribing, and keep subscribing and share your comments. Tell me what you think about the books, and then also suggest books for me which I can be reading as well. Thank you very much, guys. Adios till the next video. Peace out.